I never thought I'd see this day. Not really. 12 years with her. Every laugh, every promise, every whispered, "I love you." All of it feels like a lie now. Why? My voice cracked before I could stop it. Why would you do this? To me, she didn't flinch. Didn't even look away from her phone. Do what? She asked, cold, like I was the insane one. You know what? I shouted, my hands shaking. All those lies, the secrets. I trusted you. I gave you everything. Her lips curved slightly, but it wasn't a smile. You gave me what? You think this is about you? I stepped closer, anger and pain mixing in a way that made my chest burn. Yes, it's about me, about us. I spent 12 years loving you, and you, my throat tightened. You threw it all away for what? For him? She finally looked at me, eyes sharp, almost proud. Maybe I needed more than you could give. Maybe I needed someone who understands me. Can you accept that? Accept that? I laughed bitterly, though tears stung my eyes. Do you even hear yourself? We promised forever. You promised me forever. Her voice dropped to a whisper, venom barely hidden. Promises are just words. Actions, that's what matters. And you failed. I froze. Failed. Me? After everything I sacrificed, everything I believed in, I failed. I repeated, louder. This time, I gave you my life, my heart, my everything. And this is what I get. Her eyes didn't waver. Stop yelling. You're pathetic when you do. I felt the world crumble beneath my feet. 12 years of memories flashed. Like broken glass. The late night talks, the quiet mornings, the way she used to rest her head on my shoulder, all felt like a lie. I could hardly breathe. I don't understand, I whispered, shaking. How? How could you hate me so fast? One moment we were happy, and the next, my voice broke. Don't twist this, she said sharply. You had your chance. To be enough you weren't. I wanted to scream, to beg, to collapse at her feet, but I couldn't. Not anymore. My heart felt hollow, as if someone had ripped it out and left a cold, empty space. I can't believe it's you, I murmured. The person I loved. She's gone. Replaced by this stranger. Her laugh was soft, cruel, a sound I thought I'd never hear again. Maybe you should move on, before you waste your life crying over someone who never cared. I swallowed hard, tears burning my cheeks. My life had ended in that moment. I realized I could either break completely or rise from the ashes. I chose to rise, even if it hurt more than I could imagine. Hey, you okay? Alex's voice was gentle, hesitant, like he didn't know how to reach me. I stared at the floor, hands fidgeting. I don't know if I can be okay anymore. He crouched beside me, eyes searching mine. You're not alone. You don't have to go through this by yourself. I let out a bitter laugh. Alone. That's the point, Alex. She made sure of that. 12 years. Gone. Just like that. I know it hurts, he said softly. I can't fix this for you, but I can be here. Every step. I shook my head. I keep replaying everything. Every smile, every promise. Was it my fault? Could I have seen it coming? Alex sighed. You can't blame yourself. People change. Sometimes without warning. I felt a tightness in my chest. Change? She hates me. She doesn't even pretend to care. I gave her everything, Alex. Everything. I know, he said firmly. And she lost someone who loved her genuinely. Not the other way around. I rubbed my temples, closing my eyes. I can't sleep. I see her face at night. Laughing at him, smiling as if I never existed. I wake up in a sweat, heart racing. And it's like she's mocking me, even in my dreams. Alex put a hand on my shoulder. Nightmares are part of the process. Don't fight them alone. Talk to me. Let it out. I don't even know what to do with all this anger, I admitted. It's there, simmering, like a fire I can't control. I'm powerless, and it kills me. You're not powerless, he said quietly, eyes steady. Anger can be strength, if you let it guide you, not destroy you. You have the choice. To rise from this? I swallowed hard, my throat tight. Rise. I don't know if I can. Alex gave me a small, encouraging smile. You can? You will. But first, you need to decide you're not going to let this break you completely. I looked up, meeting his gaze, and for the first time in days, something shifted. I can't stay like this. Hollow, empty. I won't be her victim anymore.
That's
it, he said softly. Take it one step at a time. Start small. Reclaim what's yours, your life, your happiness. I nodded slowly, a spark of resolve igniting in my chest. Okay, I'll start. I'll find my way back. And one day, I'll be stronger than I was before she tore me apart. Alex smiled, relief in his eyes. I'll be here. Every step. I let out a shaky breath, feeling the first stirrings of determination rise above the pain. I may have been broken, but I wasn't finished. Not yet. Why are you pushing yourself so hard? My mentor, Mr. Harley, asked, leaning against the doorway. You're trying to rebuild, not punish yourself. I wiped sweat from my brow, muscles aching from the late-night training session. I don't feel like I'm punishing myself. I feel empty. I need to fill that void. He shook his head slowly. Filling emptiness with work isn't the same as healing. You have to let yourself grow from this, not just escape it. Don't know if I can grow from it, I admitted, dropping my hands. She took everything from me. I trusted her completely. How am I supposed to trust anyone, or even myself again? Mr. Hale's eyes softened. Trust is earned. Starting with yourself. You've already survived the worst. Now, it's time to focus on what you can control. Your body, your mind, your skills. Build your foundation again, and the rest will follow. I swallowed, tension easing slightly. So, you're saying I need to stop blaming her? And start building me? Exactly, he said. Your power isn't in revenge. It's in transformation. In the moment you take control of yourself, nothing else can touch you. I nodded, a spark of resolve lighting up inside me. I can do that. I will. No more waiting, no more excuses. You're going to meet people along the way, he warned. Some will be genuine. Some, not so much. Keep your heart guarded. Until you know the difference. I'm learning that, I said, thinking of the casual encounters, the smiles I gave cautiously, the conversations that never went deeper. Every interaction reminded me of how fragile trust can be. But each small success, each challenge I overcame, gave me a little more strength. Good, he said with a nod. Confidence isn't given. It's built. And you're building yours fast. Don't underestimate yourself. I won't, I said, chin lifting. Every day I push myself. Every time I say yes to something difficult, instead of hiding. I feel alive again. I'm not that broken person anymore. Mr. Holley smiled, a quiet approval in his eyes. Exactly. One day, you'll see her again. And you'll face her not because of longing, not because of what you lost, but because you're strong enough to confront the past on your own terms. I let out a slow breath, the weight I'd carried for months starting to lift. I can do that. I'll face her. But not for her. For me. To show myself, I survived. I transformed. He placed a hand on my shoulder. That's the spirit. Let her absence fuel your strength, not your weakness. Let this rebirth define you, not her. Betrayal. I clenched my fists, a fire burning inside me. I won't let her shadow control me anymore. I'll rise above it all. I'll be stronger, smarter, better. And when the day comes, I'll face her without fear, without longing. Only resolve. Mr. Holley nodded, stepping back. Then go. Keep building. Keep growing. You're on the path, and nothing can stop you now. I watched him leave, and felt a surge of clarity. For the first time since everything fell apart, I knew I wasn't disappearing into pain. I was emerging from it. And when I met her again, it would be on my terms. I didn't expect to see her not here, not now. My steps faltered for a moment as I spotted her across the cafe. My heart thumped, but I forced myself to stay calm. She looked different, like someone I once knew but had lost forever. She didn't recognize me at first, scrolling through her phone with that same distracted air. I considered turning around, walking away, but something inside me wouldn't let me. "Excuse me," I said, my voice steady, careful. Her head snapped up. Her eyes widened slightly, a flicker of something passing through them, recognition maybe, or guilt. "Oh, hi," she said, too casual, like nothing had happened. "Hi," I replied softly, letting the silence stretch between us. "It's been a while." "Yeah," she said, tucking her hair behind her ear, avoiding my gaze. "How have you been?" Estedia, noticing the subtle tension in her shoulders. "I've been surviving," I said slowly. "And you?" She shrugged, forcing a small smile. "I'm fine, I guess." I resisted the urge to scoff. "Fine," I repeated. "After everything." Her eyes flickered, guilt peeking through the carefully constructed mask. "Look, I didn't. You didn't." "What?" I interrupted, keeping my voice calm. "Tell me the truth. Face what you did. Admit it." I shook my head. I waited 12 years for honesty, and now? My voice caught, but I didn't. Let it falter. "Now, I realize honesty isn't coming from you." She bit her lip, silent for a moment. "I never meant to hurt you that way," she whispered finally. I let out a dry laugh, bitter but measured. "Never meant to? You shattered my life, and now you say you didn't mean to?" "I don't think I can hear that anymore." A new voice joined from behind. "Is everything okay here?" I turned slightly and saw him, my new acquaintance, someone I'd met recently, kind and steady. He offered a polite smile. "I didn't mean to interrupt. You both seem tense." I forced a small nod. "It's fine. Just catching up." In a way, she looked from me to him, unease flashing across her face. I should go," she murmured, glancing at the door. "Go," I said, my voice calm, controlled. "Leave. I don't need anything from you anymore." She hesitated, then nodded, walking away quickly, her steps tight. Anxious, I watched her leave, feeling a strange mix of relief and quiet satisfaction. She had felt something: guilt, fear, maybe regret. And I didn't need to act on my anger to see it. My strength lay in restraint, not revenge. I turned back to him. "Thank you," I said quietly, appreciating his presence, his calm. Sometimes, having someone there makes all the difference. He smiled gently. "Always. You don't have to face everything alone." I nodded, letting the weight of the encounter settle. The past was still there, but for the first time, I felt the balance had shifted. I was no longer powerless. I was walking down the street when a song came on from a nearby cafe, and suddenly, I was 12 years younger, sitting across from her with that stupid grin on my face. "I can't believe you still like that song," I muttered to no one, the words tasting bitter. A friend's voice snapped me back. "Hey, you okay?" Jenna asked, glancing at me curiously. Yeah, just memories," I admitted, swallowing hard. "It hits me sometimes, out of nowhere." She nodded slowly. "I know, I see it. It's rough. You deserved better. I should be over it by now, shouldn't I?" I asked, bitter. "But it's everywhere, the photos, the places we went, even smells. It's like she left a trail, making sure I can't forget." "Don't blame yourself for remembering," Jenna said softly. "You loved her. That doesn't disappear overnight." I sighed, pulling a notebook from my bag. "I've started writing letters to her. I don't send them, but I write everything down. Anger, longing, everything I can't say aloud." "That sounds intense," she said, eyes wide. "Does it help?" "Some days," I admitted. "Other days, it just stirs everything back up. I see her face in everything's, smiles, gestures, little things, and it makes my blood boil. I hate that I still feel something, even after everything." Jenna reached out, touching my arm lightly. "That means you're human, but you're stronger than you think. Don't let her power over you anymore." I nodded slowly, thinking about our mutual friends. Some had warned me, whispered about her manipulations behind my back. Others had stayed silent, pretending nothing happened. "And then there's them," I muttered. "People I thought I could trust. Complicit, cheering her on in silence. I can't believe it." "They're not worth it," Jenna said firmly. "Focus on yourself, not the gossip. Let her fade from your life." I chewed my lip. I want to. I really do. But every time I think she might have changed, I catch a glimpse of her old ways. Controlling, selfish, calculating. Nothing's changed. Jenna gave me a knowing look. "Then you know exactly what to do. Keep your distance. Protect your heart. Don't let her have that control over you ever again." "I won't," I said quietly, clenching my fists. "I'm done letting anyone manipulate me. Done letting anyone make me doubt my worth. I'm done carrying pieces of her inside me that don't belong." "You've grown so much already," she said, smiling softly. "And you're only going to keep growing." I smiled faintly, feeling the spark of clarity settle in my chest. "Yeah, I've learned the hard way, but at least I see it now. I will never give anyone that power over me again." "Not her? Not anyone." Jenna nodded, her eyes warm. "Exactly. You're reclaiming yourself. That's what matters." I looked at the notebook in my hand and whispered to myself, "This is mine now. My thoughts, my feelings, my life. Not hers, not theirs, mine." "Did you hear about her?" Mark asked, lowering his voice as we sat in the office kitchen. Raised an eyebrow, pretending to sip my coffee casually. "No. What happened?" "Apparently, her little lies are catching up," he said, smirking. "Some clients are pulling out. Even her so-called friends are avoiding her." I nodded slowly, letting the information settle without a hint of satisfaction. "I see. That makes sense." Is it hard to watch? He asked, eyes curious. I mean, after everything? I shook my head. Not really. I didn't do anything to cause this. It's natural consequences. People get what they deserve eventually. He laughed softly. That's true. But still. Karma's poetic, isn't it? I smiled faintly, memories of betrayal flashing through my mind. Poetic and deserved. But it doesn't feel like victory. Not like it used to. I've moved on, in my own way. And how's that going? He asked, genuinely interested. Better, I admitted. Work's improving, I'm recognized for what I do, and I'm actually enjoying life again. Slowly. Good. To hear, he said warmly. You deserve it. You've put in the effort to rebuild yourself. I nodded, thinking about the people who had supported me along the way. It's not just me. Friends like Jenna, you? People who actually care. That's what matters. Not revenge, not the anger I used to carry. Speaking of her, Mark said cautiously, do you ever think about confronting her? Or calling? Harada considered it, taking a slow sip of coffee. I did, at first. But I realized that's not my path anymore. She doesn't need me to judge her. The universe has a way of handling people like her. He raised his eyebrows. You really letting it go? I am, I said firmly. Not because I forgive her, not because I want to, but because I don't need her to feel pain for me to feel peace. My life is mine now. Mark smiled. Wow, that's impressive. I don't think I could do that. You'd be surprised what people are capable of when they decide not to be victims anymore, I said quietly, a sense of calm settling over me. Later that week, I ran into Rachel and some other colleagues near the office lobby. I heard whispers about her mistakes, her manipulations, and the way everyone was slowly distancing themselves. I didn't need to intervene. I didn't need to say a word. The natural unraveling was enough. I caught Rachel glancing at me, surprised. At my composure. You seem different, she said quietly. Different how? I asked, casually leaning against the wall. Calm, strong, unbothered, she said, a hint of respect in her tone. I'm just living my life, I replied. Not everyone gets that chance. I walked away, feeling the weight of months lifting off my shoulders. I was no longer the person consumed by betrayal and rage. I had my own life, my own achievements, and a support network that actually mattered. As I left the building, I whispered to myself, revenge isn't action, it's patience. It's letting the universe do what I cannot. And for the first time in a long time, I smiled not out of triumph over her downfall, but because I finally felt free. She appeared at my office door without warning. My heart skipped, but I didn't flinch. She looked desperate. The fire in her eyes was gone, replaced by Panji. Can we talk? She asked, voice trembling, uneven. I leaned back in my chair, folding my hands. About what? My tone was calm, measured, deliberately neutral. You know everything? I want to explain, she said, stepping closer, almost pleading. Explain. I echoed, raising an eyebrow. After 12 years, after what you did, what could you possibly explain that would matter? Her lips pressed into a thin line. I made mistakes. Big mistakes. You lied, I interrupted. You hid everything. You betrayed me. And you expect words to fix that? Her hands clenched at her sides. I never meant for it to go that far. I didn't realize. You didn't realize? I laughed softly, bitter but controlled. Do you know what it felt like, to trust you completely? To love someone with everything I had, and watch them throw it away. She started, but I held up a hand. No, don't start. I'm not here to listen to excuses. My voice remained steady, but inside, I felt the old pain ripple briefly. Then I let it pass. I wasn't that person anymore. Her eyes flickered with frustration. You think you're better than me now? You're just weak, hiding behind calmness. Weak? I asked softly, shaking my head. I'm the one who rebuilt my life. I survived the betrayal you inflicted. I found strength while you're still stuck in your manipulations, trying to control what you lost. Her breath hitched. I can make it right. I can fix things. Just give me a chance. Fix things. I repeated, my voice rising slightly, not in anger, but clarity. There's nothing to fix. Not with you, not ever. You can't take away the pain you caused, and you can't erase 12 years of deceit. With promises now. Her face paled, and for a moment, I saw genuine fear. You don't care? I care about myself, I said firmly. I care about the person I've become, not the one I used to be when I gave you power over my heart. And that's where your control ends. Right here, right now. She stepped back, trembling. You didn't what? I pressed, my voice calm, but sharp. You didn't love me the way I loved you? You didn't value what we had? You didn't think about anyone but yourself? Her silence was answer enough. I took a deep breath, feeling a lightness I hadn't known in years. I forgive myself for letting you hurt me. I forgive myself for the time I wasted hoping you'd change. And I let go completely. You are no longer part of my life, not even in my thoughts. Her eyes filled with shock, maybe a touch of regret, but I didn't wait for her reaction. I turned and walked away, each step lighter than the last. I paused at the elevator, looking back once. She was still frozen, staring at the space I had occupied. I smiled faintly, not for her, but for me. 12 years of pain, betrayal, and growth had led to this moment. I was free. I can't believe we finally made it here, she said, smiling as we walked along the riverside. Her hand brushed against mine, warm and steady. I know, I said, squeezing her hand gently. It feels different this time. Real. She tilted her head, studying me. Different how? I paused, letting the wind carry away 1,000 memories I no longer needed. I'm not afraid anymore. I trust you, not blindly, but fully. And it's strange how freeing that feels. Her eyes softened. I never want to hurt you. I'll never give you a reason to doubt me. I can see that, I said, smiling genuinely. And that's enough. More than enough. We walked, in silence for a while, listening to the gentle lapping of the water. I let myself reflect, quietly amazed at how far I'd come. 12 years of love, betrayal, and heartbreak had forged me into someone I barely recognized back then, someone stronger, wiser, unafraid to embrace life fully. You're quiet, she said softly, nudging me playfully, just thinking. I admitted. About everything. How I got here. Do you ever think about her? She asked cautiously, referring to the woman who once owned my heart. I shook my head firmly. Sometimes, yes. But not with pain anymore. She's a memory, a lesson. Not a shadow. Not someone who controls me. What I learned from her shaped me into who I am today. She smiled, relief in her eyes. I'm glad. You can see that. I can't imagine what you went through. Neither could I said, letting out a soft laugh. I thought I'd never heal. I thought the anger, the betrayal, the pain would follow me forever. But I rebuilt myself, step by step. I faced it all, learned to let go, and discovered that freedom isn't about forgetting, it's about growing beyond it. She reached out, brushing a strand of hair from my face. And you've grown into someone incredible. I looked at her, feeling the warmth of her presence, the honesty in her gaze. I think the best part is, I finally understand love in a way I never did before. Not possession, not control, not fear, but trust, respect, and mutual care. That's what this feels like. She laughed softly. I've never heard you speak with such peace. It took losing everything to find it, I admitted, a quiet smile tugging at my lips. Losing her, losing my illusions. It forced me to rise. To understand who I am, what I deserve, and what real love can be. She intertwined her fingers with mine, her grip firm and comforting. I promise, we'll build something beautiful. Something lasting. I nodded, letting the truth of her words sink in. Yes, we will, and I'll face every challenge with the strength I've earned. Nothing from my past can weaken me now. We stopped by a bench, overlooking the sunset. The sky was painted in shades of orange and pink, and I felt a calm I hadn't known in years. I breathed in deeply, letting the moment anchor me to the present. To this new horizon. You look at peace, she said, resting her head on my shoulder. I am, I said softly, feeling the weight of the past lift completely. Because I finally understand. Love lost taught me freedom. Letting go allowed me to truly live. And now, this. This is what living feels like. She smiled against my shoulder, and I knew she meant everything she said. I was no longer a prisoner of my past. I was free, loved, and ready to embrace the future with open arms. For the first time in 12 years, I felt whole. I returned to the park where we once spent lazy Sunday afternoons. The bench near the fountain looked the same, yet everything felt different. I sat down, letting my hands rest on my knees, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel hollow. Funny how this place used to hold so much weight, I whispered. To no one. I thought sitting here would bring memories back, but it doesn't hurt anymore. A soft breeze stirred the leaves above me. I suppose some wounds are meant to teach, I said, smiling faintly, and some lessons take years to learn. I looked around, imagining her here once, laughing, careless. I felt nothing. Not anger, not longing, not regret. You never sought true love, did you? I muttered. Not really. And that was never my burden to carry. I carried it for both of us, but now, it's over. A passerby smiled politely as they walked by, and I returned the gesture. Life moves on, I said aloud. And so do I. I pulled out my notebook, the one I used to write letters I never sent. Flipping through the pages, I found the ones filled with anger and heartbreak. I read a few lines, and instead of pain, I felt gratitude. You made me stronger, I said quietly, addressing the empty space beside me. You forced me to grow, to see my own worth, to rise beyond the person I was. I closed the notebook and placed it on the bench. This is mine now, I said. A sense of peace settling over me. Not yours, not hers, mine. I leaned back, letting my eyes wander over the fountain, the sun reflecting on the water like scattered diamonds. I survived, I murmured. I rebuilt myself, piece by piece. I faced betrayal, endured heartbreak, and came out whole. A voice in my mind reminded me of the old days, when I would have wanted to run after her, beg for explanations, demand apologies. I shook my head. Not anymore, I said firmly. I don't need closure from her. I don't need her remorse. I don't need her at all. My closure comes from me, from the strength I found in silence. The park felt alive, but quiet, as if it recognized the calm that had settled over me. I am free, I said softly, letting the words echo around me. Free from the past, free from pain, free from anyone who once tried to control me. I stood, dusting off my pants, and looked once more at the bench. Goodbye, I whispered. Not for her, not for the past, but for myself. Thank you for teaching me, and thank you for leaving me. With that, I walked away, my steps steady, my chest light. The sun warmed my face, the breeze carried a sense of promise, and I felt a quiet joy that comes only from knowing you survived, and grew stronger. She faded from my life, her consequences unfolding elsewhere, but I remained whole, peaceful, and finally free.